Hello guys, how are you doing today? It's Tayo Aino here again. As a business person myself, I know there are a lot of people out there who are looking for ways to build successful businesses in Africa. So today we're going to be interviewing a very successful Nigerian entrepreneur called Mr. Remi Dada, who is the CEO of an interior design company called Space Finish. And today he's going to be sharing some of the mistakes he has made and also the story of how he was able to build such a successful company in Africa. So let's jump right in.
Were you outside Nigeria before, or did you come to Nigeria to start your business, or how did you come about Space Finish?
I've always been very inclined to want to design spaces. Even from when I was younger, I went to high school in Nigeria, and classes like technical drawing, those are things that I naturally gravitated towards. When I went to undergrad, I went to the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and I studied architecture. I finished and then I practiced in Chicago for a couple of years. However, in 2008, I don't know if you remember, we had a huge recession that was brought about by the real estate crash. So the design and construction industry were greatly impacted, right? So during that time, I got laid off, right? And the whole experience made me feel like, look, being an architect doesn't make any sense. When you finish from school, you're looking for the most lucrative jobs, and there's so many obstacles in being an architect at that time. So at that time, I said, you know what, let me go get an MBA, because I always wanted to have a business degree. And I felt that at that time, a lot of architects were not very business inclined, at least within my social circle. Everyone was always about design, and they were not part of the value chain from the point when the design is finished to the point where the building is actually built, to the conversations around the financials. So I felt like getting this business background would help me to become a more well-rounded, business-oriented architect. That was the intention of going to business school. That experience opened up the doors to so many things. When you spend your entire life just focusing on a particular sector or a niche sector, and you get into business school, you realize that, wow, the world is a lot larger. So I ended up gravitating towards marketing, because marketing was the only thing within business that still allowed for some sort of creativity, and I naturally was also good at doing that. After finishing from MBA, I was looking for an opportunity that would bring me back to Nigeria, because at that point I was already in the States for like 12 years, right? I was looking forward to more or less coming back home.
So you ordered the years took like
yeah, definitely in Lagos.
Yeah, I'm in Lagos too.
This is why my company exists. I left business school and I wanted to come back home to Nigeria, and I was looking for the right kind of job that would bring me back. I figured out very quickly that it was going to be difficult for me as an architect to transition into the business environment. So the kind of jobs I was looking for were companies that I appreciated, people that valued out-of-the-box thinking. Ended up getting the job at Google in Nigeria while I was in the States. And that was my ticket to home. I came back home November 2012, and I started working at Google December 2012. It allowed me to really understand the local markets and also build a network of people that I could work with. And as fate would have it, during that time, I did a project to redesign the Google office while I was employed at Google. And it was more or less that thing where Google gives you they give every employee the opportunity to take 20% of their time to focus on anything else outside of their core function, as long as it's still within the Google umbrella. So for me, I said, hey, this office is a Niger version of Google. Right, let us, and we just couldn't find any local firm that understood what we were looking for, surprisingly, at that time. It was very obvious to me, but at that time in Nigeria, offices were not anything that people thought about as beautiful spaces.
Beautiful spaces, yeah.
Also obvious now, but back then, no one thought about it. It was efficient space to get employees to work as hard as possible. So when I designed the Google office space, it was more or less to design a space that would empower myself and my colleagues at Google. Everything snowballed from there because what happened was, at the Google office, a lot of people come to the office. Right, so a lot of people kept asking, who designed this space? This space is amazing. This is the best space I've seen in Nigeria. And that led us to get our first official job, which was the Andela project. And we did the Andela project. As a Nigerian guy, I was hustling, one leg at Google, one leg on the Andela construction site. We made it happen, a mixture of luck, hustle, and smarts. But we ended up doing something that was very special that really helped the Andela brand at that time. And from that point on, we officially said, let's make this a company, right? And I took a leap of faith, which was very unpopular at that time, which was to quit my job and focus on this new untested segments of the market. Luckily for me, the bet paid off. And since then, we've been designing multiple spaces. Some notable ones are the Vibrino Valley for Venture Garden Group, the Google's developer space that you've experienced yourself, PwC's Innovation Hub. We're currently designing an office space for Facebook, the first office space in Nigeria. We designed the Port Harcourt International Airport.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was mad. I thought that was crazy.
We're working on Lagos. We're currently working on the Lagos International Airport. So it's been a journey, where we've been grinding very hard, we've been pushing very aggressively. We have an amazing team of people who are very dedicated, very, very smart. And all through the years, we've been focusing on the workspace, right? But right now we're in a place where we are beginning to expand outside the workspace. So we're looking at segments like education, travel. So for around education, we just built a state-of-the-art training academy for Wema Bank. Around travel, we're working with the airports, we're going to be working with other clients down the line in the travel segments. So the entire thing is that Space Finish, we want to become the partners that help you improve your lifestyle across the different areas of your life, whether it's your office, whether it's, it's at home, whether it's while you travel, because we feel that in Africa, there's a huge decay in infrastructure, and we are coming in there saying, okay, a lot of things in the public sector are not really working well. How can we contribute towards alleviating that strain, right? And that's why our vision is to design and build a better world for all humans to live and work in.
You schooled outside Nigeria. Why did you decide to come back and build here instead of setting up your business outside Nigeria?
That question even rings harder in 2020. So outside Nigeria is a lot easier. Life is better. I'm not going to tell you that life isn't better outside. Things are more predictable. You have a more organized system, so it makes sense for people to go outside the country. For me, at that time, I was more or less chasing impact. I wanted to drive impact. It's possible to drive impact while you're in the States, obviously, but that impact wasn't aligned with what I was passionate about. I was passionate about driving impact in Africa, and everyone has their calling, right? But for me, I felt like if I could build something in Africa that was going to improve the quality of things, then I'll find fulfillment as an individual. It was that simple. And when something is that simple, it allows you to dive in with blind optimism and ignore all the different challenges that most people would be sensitive towards. So people say, how do you deal with all these things, with traffic, with corruption, with this and that? I'm like, those things exist, but because my vision is also clear, it's allowed me to just continue to persevere.
So from what you're saying, do you believe Africa is the future?
I believe Africa is the origin, right, of all great things and all great civilizations, if you look at your history, and that's just facts. But I also believe that Africa is the teenager of the world. In fact, that a lot of the civilizations and countries have just been newly developed, and there's so many problems as a result of how they were developed. But we still need to give Africans a lot of time to develop, because other countries that we compare ourselves to have had hundreds of years of democracy, right? And we have just started that journey. So I think there's a lot of things going on for Africa. The population size is one of them. The growth of internet penetration is another one. The access to an immense amount of natural resources, and the access to amazing, intelligent and talented people, right? If you look around the world, all the Africans that have traveled, they tend to be the ones doing the most amazing things. But I won't say that without a grain of salt. There are a lot of challenges that one needs to overcome in Nigeria and in other African markets, and we all have to play our own part. I'm still optimistic, but I'm also thinking global, not just Nigeria. Let's think about the entire Africa. Let's think about other parts that are not just Africa, right? Because the world is becoming so much smaller that we're in a place where you can be in a different country and you can be running operations anywhere.
Sure.
And you can get talent from anywhere to supplement what might be lacking locally. right? So I also advise people in this day and age, and that's what the coronavirus has made us realize, that we are in a very small global economy, and let's begin to tap into all the benefits of that.
I don't think I know of any business person that has built a business and everything has just been very smooth from beginning to end. So, can you tell us some of the challenges you faced, and also tell us what your most challenging project has been?
Let me list out some challenges first that people would resonate with. Number one is exposure and awareness in the community as a whole. You know, with the lack of exposure and awareness in the community, your market size really reduces, especially if you're offering such a premium service, right?
Sure.
So disposable income is low, awareness is low, so you tend to be just targeting a couple of people, versus if I was doing this in America, I'll have 100 times more clients, and that means your upside to grow will be a lot higher. So that's one. The second thing is just infrastructure. You know, when you are saying you want to be very innovative and you want to be very cutting edge, as to cutting edge, not just from an African standpoint, but from a global standpoint, you'll find out that the lack of infrastructure makes it a lot more difficult to compete on a global scale. You know, and the company right now is in a place where we are competing on the global scale because we have global clients who are putting out project bids across the world, and we are competing. So it's very difficult to compete and to execute at that level also. And the other thing that is most frustrating is talent. We have a lot of people, but the education system has failed us. So you have a lot of graduates that are coming out that are just not just equipped with the skills that they need to be productive in the modern age, right? So access to talent tends to be very, very difficult. Now, if you have a company and you're trying to scale and grow very fast, how do you grow very fast if you don't have access to a talented pool? So you're always looking for a diamond or a needle in a haystack, right? And that is counterproductive to scaling and growing. And then also, because of the lack of talent, you have every company competing on a very limited talent pool, right? So at some point in time, when you hit a certain amount of employees, maybe 100 or 200, you're going to find it very difficult to grow and bring in people that continue to be at that level that your company wants. And then there's also the general challenges of power,
logistics,
structural challenges, logistics, corruption, that makes the simplest things difficult. So when we talk about the actual construction aspect of the job, there's a talent issue in finding artisans and vendors that are good, right? And no amount of education in business school is going to get you these insights, right? I went to an executive leadership program at Wharton School of Business while I was at Google, and you know, it just made me realize that they were really teaching about the westernized way to run businesses. We really need an African way to run businesses with all the nuances that people are going to face in this market, because these are the things that really matter. You know, how you engage people, the cultural barriers, all the different things. How do you sidestep corruption, right? How do you, there's so many different things that you need to really understand.
Yeah, sure.
And those are things that I've had to understand while setting up a business. So yeah, there've been a lot of challenges. The challenges sometimes make it fun, but you have to be very, very careful too, because you don't want to get into this mindset of doing a lot of action but no movement. Because Nigeria is filled with a lot of action but no movement. Everyone is busy. If you spend 10 hours in a day and you do one thing and someone else in different countries spends 1 hour and does the same thing, then you have really been unproductive. So I've tried to really think about that. How do we really combat that whole mindset of don't be busy and not move forward? How do we be productive? And that's one of the key things we really try to drive internally at Space Finish.
What has been your most exciting project of all the places you've designed?
The politically correct thing to say is all the projects have been exciting, right?
Okay.
They've all been amazing. And I really mean that. The VGG one was amazing because of it was a huge warehouse space that we converted into an office. No one thought that we could do that. The airports have also been exciting because I never liked the Nigerian airports. So to be able to contribute towards influencing that.
I saw the airport and I was like, is this Nigeria's airport? And then I heard it was in Port Harcourt. I was like, wow. Like the airport usually is, even the Lagos airport, to be honest, like I travel a lot. So when I land and get to the airport, it's a very, to be honest, it's a very horrible experience. Just seeing it I'm Nigerian, but I need to say the truth. I've been to a lot of airports. Even Ghana's airport is way nicer than our airport. Way, way nicer. So when I saw the Port Harcourt airport and I saw the pictures, I was like, okay, this is amazing. This is amazing. So like, kudos, shout out to you.
Not to me, shout out to the team. Not to have a cop-out answer, but every project has something special to it, right? And like the new office we're doing for Facebook is the most technologically challenged project that we've done because of the specifications and requirements from the clients, right? So at every time everyone is stepping up to the bar, we continue to top our past projects because I think that's what keeps it exciting and interesting.
What is your advice for a lot of African entrepreneurs there who are trying to start out to build something in Africa? What do you have as a piece of advice for anybody out there who wants to build something as remarkable as you have built?
Well, so the first thing I'll say is you need to really understand why you want to do it. It is a very crappy job. People don't understand that. People always think, I want to be the boss. No, it's a crappy job. It's a crappy job because number one, you take on all the risk. Number two, it's always on your shoulder. It's always on your shoulder. There's no one else to pass the buck to, right? You would never be appreciated fully for what you're doing, right? And the people around you will never quite understand. And it's very lonely. You know, you don't have coworkers anymore. No matter how you want to look at it, you don't have coworkers anymore. And there are very few people that can understand and appreciate what you're going through to give you any advice. So you really need to be in it for the right reason. So when I meet any entrepreneur, I just ask them, how did you hang in long enough and not quit? Because that's the main thing that you have to do to be successful. Being in it for the right reason, which is passion, and having a clear purpose of what you want to drive. And it should never be profits. It should never be riches, right? There are easier ways to make money, right? So it should never be that. Right? It should be for the right reasons. If you are in Africa, and more or less if you're in Nigeria has a very short-term reward-based system. Everyone thinks of, I need to hammer now. I need to hammer tomorrow. I need to leave a banana tomorrow. I need to drive a job wagon tomorrow. And I never understood, why do you need to do it tomorrow? like who lied to you and told you that you have to do these things tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. And it creates this very short-term thinking where people are doing things for instant gratification. And if you're doing a business, you need to be very strategic and very long-term thinking, right? That doesn't help. So one thing that has made me think about the fray is I understand that it's about the journey, it's not about the destination, right? Because in actuality, there is no destination. There's never going to be a point where I'm going to say, I've arrived. I can now stop doing anything. I can now stop existing. You would never stop. You'd always have something else you want to do. Even if back then when I started the company, if you told me you're going to design international airports, I told you it's impossible. You know, and I said that, man, if you design international airports, that's it, I'm done, I'm made. But no, now that you do it, you're always going to want to do the next thing. So when you think about the destination and you obsess about the destination, you do not appreciate the amazing journey that you're going through. And that is a reward in itself, the journey.
Sure.
The people that you meet along the lines, the interviews like this that you get, you're watching your team develop and grow and doing amazing things and leaving your company to go conquer the world. Appreciation you get from solving clients' problems, the challenges that you get, the failures and the learnings that you get. You have to be very present to appreciate those things because that is the reward in itself. If you're doing it and you're doing a good job, the money is always going to come, right? So it took me a while to get to that state of thinking, but it's something that I wish someone had told me a lot earlier. And the other thing is you need to build a company that you are proud of. I've met a lot of people who cannot stand the companies they've built. They cannot stand going to the office. They can't stand the people that they've hired to work with. And that's a very crappy and shitty thing to be in, right? So you need to be proud of what you've built. And you need to do things for the right reasons. Nigeria is going to test you a lot, especially from a moral standpoint. Whatever you do, you have to be comfortable with it. And you have to be able to say, okay, I'm happy with my decisions and whatever legacy I'm leaving behind. And the last thing I'll say is do whatever you need to do to find the best talent, period. Never be the smartest person in the room. Find people who are better than you. That is the most important thing, actually, of everything I've said. Get the right people. It's all about the team. If you have an amazing team, you'll be sitting down in Saint-Tropez drinking pina colada, right? A horrible team, you'll be on construction sites carrying blocks with everybody.
Blocks.
Your team is everything.
Thanks a lot. That's an awesome way to end this interview. It's been amazing.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I appreciated this conversation. It's quite interesting, and I'll continue to look out for the amazing things that you are doing in your own career.
So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you gained something from this interview, and I hope it wasn't too long. I think it's one of my longest interviews ever. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please hit the like button, smash the like button, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get to 200,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.